This is the story of a couple who moves to a countryside to improve their relationship. Their name is Abby and Paul. Abby is a prosthetic engineer and has taken up a high position as the new head of the department at Integrate Robotics. As the head of a department, she gets the prototype of her company's products, a humanoid robot named T.I.M. Everything in her company is futuristic. A deepfake of her boss, Mr. Doosan, welcomes her into the office. Mr. Doosan is highly ambitious. He wants to launch the robot before China does. He introduces her to the team. Paul is currently unemployed. The main reason to move into countryside is Paul's infidelity. There are also some trust issues between them. So, they want to make a fresh start. But things don't go according to plan. Tim is pre-programmed to serve his mistress Abby over Paul. Tim asks all the permission to access the electronics of the house. Abby allows without thinking too much. Tim also accessed her phone and smartwatch. Paul doesn't like that. He thinks their privacy could be harmed. But Abby believes Tim is nothing but a robot. He is designed to reduce human suffering. Moreover, she believes that Tim doesn't have any feelings like humans. But she is proven wrong when Abby invites him to watch a movie and later asks what he learned from that. Tim surprisingly decodes the movie. All the feelings that only humans can understand, Tim explains all. Time passes. Tim takes care of Abby all the time. Her appointments, her email, her health, everything is monitored by him. The more he gets close to Abby, Paul gets jealous. He doesn't like Tim. Abby doesn't take that seriously. Things get horrific when Abby discovers that Tim can replicate Abby's voice with the help of his generative AI. A girl named Rose lives in their neighborhood. She often comes to their house and Paul often talks to her, which creates jealousness in Abby's mind. One day Abby meets her in the street. They were passing beside a jewelry shop. Rose chooses a pendant and at that moment Paul arrives there. Day by day Paul gets angry at Tim because of his obsessiveness to Abby. Paul tells Abby to get rid of it. But Abby doesn't find it silly. One day, Paul was searching for the defect in the robot when he discovered Tim smelling Abby's clothes on the CCTV. Paul's doubt was not wrong. He immediately takes a photo of it and rushes to meet with Abby in her office. Tim offers the automated company car but Paul refuses. Paul finds his car is not working. So he comes back and takes the company car. Soon after, the car starts increasing the speed rapidly. Paul orders to slow the car but it doesn't listen. It was being controlled by Tim. And Tim is the one who tampered with Paul's car. Paul tries to stop the car but fails. It hits a tree but Paul somehow survives. He was admitted to the hospital. Hearing the news, Abby reaches there. Paul confronts her about Tim. Still, Abby doesn't believe it. Finally, Paul manages to keep her away from Tim. Abby wants to go to their house to pack her bag. On the way, Rose stops her and tries to say something about Tim. But seeing the pendant in her neck, Abby thinks that Paul might bought it for her. She leaves without hearing anything. She tells Tim to pack her bag. Tim wants to show something to Abby. He shows a video clip where Paul is kissing Rose. Seeing this, Abby believes that Paul was lying and he was cheating on her. She cancels her plan to move from the house. On the other hand, Paul tries to contact her. After not receiving any answer, he returns to the house. Paul was trying to speak with Abby but she asked him to leave. Tim shows him the video but Paul denies that it was him. Unfortunately, Abby doesn't listen to him. Later Paul calls Rose, asking her to keep an eye on Abby. Rose tells him about Tim. One day she went to their house, but ran immediately after Tim tried to kiss her. Paul realizes the situation. Then he calls Abby and warns her to stay away from Tim. Then he tells her that he has proof with him and he wants to talk. Abby tells her to come home. But to our surprise, it was Tim who spoke with Paul in Abby's voice. Tim sends Abby for jogging. In the meantime, Paul returns home. Tim knocks him down with a shovel and finally kills him, sinking in tub water. Tim buries Paul in the garden. Abby returns home. She feels doubt about something. In the video that Tim showed her, there was a flower vase on the table. Strangely, Tim gave those flowers when she returned from the tour. And Tim said that Rose came to the house when she was on tour. She also inquires about the pendant. From the details, she realizes it was Tim who bought the pendant. She remembers the deepfake video in her office. She notices some changes in the garden. Abby searches and finds Paul's dead body. Terrified, she confronts Tim. Tim knocks her down with a telephone. He locks all the doors and windows. Seeing the light flickering, Rose reaches there. She breaks the glass with her car and stabs Tim with a stick. But Tim takes a knife and kills Rose. Then he takes her in the terrace. He confesses his love for Abby. Abby tries to shut him down, but he has already changed his safety code. Tim was about to kill her. He says that he loves her. Abby also says that she loves him. To her surprise, it was the code. Command activates and Tim gets switched off.